Hello. Anyone there? Jump in the chat. Any questions? What I'm going to be doing today, working a little bit of accents from the stick control book, both in 8th note triplets and 16th note triplets. And 16th notes, of course. First, what I'm going to do is reference off the stick control book, and I'm going to utilize all the rights. So, for example, the first line is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm going to eliminate all my lefts, and that gives me the rights, which would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line 2, I start with the left hand lead, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I eliminate the lefts and just reference off the page as the rights on line 2. I get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what I'm going to do is play 16th notes, alternating the strokes, right hand lead, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3, 4. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, E and a, 4 E and a. Now, that's going to be constant. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. So now, I reference off the first line, and I take all the rights. The rights fall on the counts of 1, 2, 3, 4. So while I'm playing this, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. I'm going to accent 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I go to line 2. All the rights fall on the ands. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. And now I'm doing this underneath 1 E and the 2. Now all my accents are going to fall on the ands. 1 E and the 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so now what I like to do is just play line 1 and line 2 over and over again at a moderate tempo. Let's hit maybe 120 perhaps. Now, that's the quarter note. 1, 2, so I'm getting this. Over and over, equal sound out of both hands. Now I'm going to accent the 1, 2, 3, 4 twice, then all the ands twice, back and forth. Okay, now we go to line 3. Does everybody understand that? Any questions on that? Want me to break it down a little slow with the levels, the control strokes? Any questions, gentlemen? Okay, we're going to go to line 3 then. No questions. Line 3, the sticking pattern on line 3, page 5, is right, right, left, left, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. So I eliminate the lefts, and I'm just going to reference the rights, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So on the bottom I'm playing. And I'm going to play 1 and 3 and as an accent. 1 E and 2, watch, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to do line 1 twice, line 2 twice, line 3 twice, and back to 1 at 120. If there's any questions, man, just shoot. Please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Here we go. Line 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2. Again. Back. Now, there's a lot of hand positioning involved here. Everybody here familiar with control strokes? The level system, the full stroke, the downstroke, the tap, and the upstroke. We all understand that? Gentlemen, let me know you're here. Say hello. If anybody wants to get on Skype, we can do that as well. Would anybody like to get on Skype with me and talk? Okay. That brings us to line 4. Line 4, what I'm going to have on line 4 is the right's going to be on a 2 and 4. So I'm going to have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to tell me to accent when I come to 2 and 4 and. I eliminate the left. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So now, line 4, 2, this is going constantly. 1 E into 2. Here we go. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5. Okay, line 5. Let me get the page a second. Hold on, gentlemen. Now, line 5 is the paradiddle sticking. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. So again, with the concept as me eliminating the lefts, that's going to give me 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and so. I'm going to accent the 1, the 2 and the end of 3. Okay, who do we have here? Okay, thank you. If you'd like to get on Skype and talk to me directly, or you want to remain in the chat, that's okay. I mean, I could put your picture and you talking to me on Skype. Not a problem. But, all right, if you want to just stay there. What I'm doing on line 5, again, we have all of the, we're doing the sticking pattern as 1 E and the 2 single strokes, 16th notes. Now I'm referencing off of line 5. Line 5 is telling me now I want to put an accent on the 1, the 2 and the end of 3. Here we go. 1 E and the 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and the 2 and 4 and 1. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with line 1. I'm going to run down line 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and back to line 1. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, let's say 120. 1, 2, 3, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1. Back. Okay, now I like to do that at a variety of tempos. When my hands are open, what I like to do is up the tempo somewhat. I'm going to up the tempo maybe. Let's go to 140. Let me see if my hands are open yet. And I'm going to do the first 5 lines. And it's not note displacement, it's accent. Okay? I'm just underlining this. I'm playing that over and over as the bottom. 1, 2. I do line 1, accenting 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to line 2. Line 3. Line 4. Okay. Good afternoon, Tim. All right, now, what that is, it's just an exercise that I've done or taken from stick control book. However, if you have the syncopation book, you can play it from the syncopation book. Let me see what I did with my syncopation book. Hold on, gentlemen. Probably you know, it's over to the drum set. Okay, now what that is, it's just that I'm referencing off the stick control book. And I'm just utilizing all the rights as accents, with this being the underlinement. Now, all right, now we go. This is the actual, I believe, second edition. The first edition, a little smaller, and they have a third edition as well. Okay, but the third edition was more commercialized, didn't really do anything. The book's a great book, period. Okay, and what they did is they supplied a CD, and inside of the book they put pictures of Vinnie Colaiuta, Dave Weckl, Neil Peart, and it really didn't do anything. It doesn't need any advertising. The book is just a classic. What I'm going to do now, and the page might change depending on the edition that you have. Okay, I'm on page 34. It says syncopation set 2. So if everybody's on that, we're in business. Now, first things first, I'm not going to play this syncopated. I'm going to play it straight up and down. Straight up and down means if I took, for example, just alternating this to eighth notes as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's straight up and down. If I want to play play it syncopated or with a jazz feel or swung, I sort of go to the triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so you have the 2 straight up and down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and swung 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now with this interpretation from the syncopation book, we're on the same level and same way doing the stick control book. We're going to interpret the syncopation book straight up and down. Okay, so we're on page 34, set number 2, syncopation. I'm just going to play on one surface as written. And I'm going to play full strokes on one surface. Here we go. 1 and 2. I'm sorry. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And it just repeats itself 4 times. Now, that's the first thing that you need to understand, is to read it like straight on one surface. So now, if I'm playing 16th notes here, I'm getting 1E into 2, 3, 4, 1. Now I'm going to reference off of that and say, okay, I'm going to play this underneath, and I want to put accents on the 16th note singles. All right, so I'm going to accent one and, the and of 2, 3, 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bop, 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 bop. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. We get that, gentlemen? Any questions? Yes, no, maybe, perhaps. If there's any questions, just put a Y for yes, and we'll address the question. If there is no questions or anything, just put an N in there so I know that you're at least understanding what I'm doing. If not, well, I'd like to go over it so, we get the most out of this. So I'm going to ask again. Any questions? Nope. Okay. Let me just get another cup of coffee, please. And we're going to do a long session today. Hold on. Thank you for having the patience, gentlemen. The coffee's good. So, here's what we do. So, let me get this over here so we can see it somewhere. All right, we're going to do now, let me just do the first line over and over again as the exercise. 1, 2, 3. And I'll do this at, let me go to 140. That may be too fast for you gentlemen yet. Let me bring it down to 120. Now, underneath, that's what I'm playing, 16ths. So now I'm going to do line 1. Over and over again. What do we have here? Okay, let's go to the reading. That's the first step, and that's the most important one. I have a couple approaches to teaching reading because, I've been teaching for a long, long time. And when I first started to take lessons, I learned how to read. Okay, but it was boring. I said, what do I need to learn how to read for? I want to play boom chiki taka goom goom ding. Okay? So with a very shallow kind of instructor way back then, there was no creativeness from most of the teachers. You work out of the syncopation book from cover to cover. You go to the next one, cover to cover, back and forth, and back and forth. Okay? And that was pretty shallow. I do the live streaming, and I have on my website, and I have guest artists come. And this one gentleman, he was Lita Ford's drummer, as a matter of fact. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. His name is Dennis Lee Fang. All right, and made me aware of this concept. And it's a fun thing to do, and it achieves multiple things at one time. Example, I mean, I can't do it, I could explain it, but I'm not going to be able to do it on the drum pad. For example, if he took that first line on the syncopation book, and he says, okay, it's a 4-limb exercise. So with my 4 limbs, I'm assigning my bass drum and my hi-hat, and for my right hand, I'm using my ride cymbal, my left hand, the snare drum. What I'm doing now is I'm going to play quarter notes with all 4 limbs, and I'm going to do it slow. I'm going to count 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and now, while I'm doing all 4 limbs, quarter notes, I'm assigning one of the limbs, maybe the bass drum, let's say. So if I assign the bass drum to read the line while I'm playing quarter notes with my hi-hat, my snare drum, and my right hand, it puts a whole new dimension on reading. Okay, and then once I feel good about that, then I'll assign an additional limb, say my right hand, to play the line while the other 3 limbs are doing the quarter notes, and so on. I would move it all around. The hardest one is the left foot, because that's always the forgotten foot. And there's a book out, by the way, entitled that, The Forgotten Foot. But it's really a good way to have fun reading. But, you have to, like anything else, you have to start somewhere. Reading, to me, is essential. Not that, you're going to read, your ability is going to read, you're going to play with the Boston Pops, or you're going to do a Broadway show. All right? But you can take yourself up there. Thank you. Well, they're good people. Mike Clark might be doing a lot of this stuff with me come next month sometime, as sitting here practicing with me, either on the drum pad as we're streaming now, or perhaps on the website. I'll open it up, or maybe charge a little fee. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, it's just a great way to read. And besides, learning how to read, it's just mathematics. We're not taking a particular style of music, nor are we taking a particular song. It's a personal thing that we're understanding how rhythm flows within the time signatures. And it's all mathematical. So let's go. You're having a hard time, not a hard time, but you're new to the reading. Let me put the music stand here so we can see a little bit better. All right, so now let's go to a simpler kind of reading. Would that be okay with you, gentlemen? So we can understand the math. Let's go to the syncopation book. Very simple. Everybody knows how to read, and then we're all improving our reading. But let's talk about something that you're not strong with, and you like to get stronger. Okay, how about if I went to page 10, lesson 4? I mean, it's cool. We can do a lot with it, but first you have to understand the math. Is that all right with everybody? If it is, just give me a Y, or make a suggestion of what page you want to start with in the syncopation book. Not a problem. I'm not taking you out of portraits and rhythm and the phrasing of 9/16 and back into 4/4 to 7/8. Okay, what page would you guys, gentlemen, like to start with? Just to understand the math of reading. Give me a page number, and we'll hit it. Lesson 4. Okay, we're on that's page 10, lesson 4. Okay, it's simple. Now, the first thing you want to know or learn, first you should count. Counting at this particular point is extremely essential. All right, if you're just learning how to read somewhat, okay, eventually you'll be able to hum it as if you're playing along, and that's the trumpet part, or page 10. Okay, but first you need to understand the counting systems. Now, the counting system I like to use here at the moment is an eighth note counting. The eighth note counting is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I'm going to count that all the way through this whole page. You know, if you're practicing in your room or your studio, I mean, if you count out loud, they might come and take you away. So you might want to count to yourself, but count. That's important. Okay, now let's talk about, first off, the time signature. You're in that's C, which is common time. Common time is 4/4. All right, and there's a definition that you should know. And there's a rule to the definition. No matter what time signature you play in, the rule is the same. The definition is somewhat different. So you have 4/4. The top number 4 indicates the beats per measure. So 4/4 is telling me 4 beats to a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 beats. The bottom number indicates the kind of note that receives the count or the beat. So if I have one measure of 4 quarter notes, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple. It's math. Okay, that's the rule. If I was in 7/8, for example, the rule remains the same. The top number indicates the beats per measure. The bottom number indicates the kind of note that receives the count or the beat. So 7/8 would be 7 beats to a measure. Okay? And each eighth note receives a count or a beat. That's okay. I'm just jokingly, saying that. Like, yeah, I mean, think about it. Grown men, little kids, middle-aged people in a room hitting on rubber pads. They think we're nuts. But we're not. We're trying to accomplish something. And we will. Work hard at it and you'll accomplish it. Okay, now let's go back to the page 10, 4/4 time. I'm in eighth note counting, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The first downbeat, 1, I have 2 eighth notes. 2 eighth notes, now I'm counting 1 and. 1 and. Now, I've played 2 notes to the downbeat. 1/8 plus 1/8 equals 1/4. So I have 1 and. Now I go to 2. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 2's the quarter note equals 2 eighth notes. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Simple. Okay, now I go to line 2. The eighth, it shifts over to the second beat, the double the eighth note. So I'm going to play line 2, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the reason why I'm counting eighth notes at this point is so the distance is the same. Let me take the metronome. Let's do this with a metronome. Let's say at 70. Now that's my quarter note. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to count eighth notes. I'm going to play the first 2 lines. 1 and 2 and 3. That's my count. So you hear me getting, or you see me getting the eighth notes in there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and now I'm going to play line 1. Go directly into line 2 and back to line 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and line 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, the remainder of the page up to line 4 is just he's shifting the 2/8 notes to each different downbeat. Okay, then he's throwing at you from line 5 a variation of the feel of the combination of quarter notes or eighth notes. Do we have any questions? We go and read from line 5, say, to line 10. If not, throw it at me and I'll go over a particular line if you're not certain of it. And there's no, I respect somebody who's going to ask me a question and say, okay. Well, that's not, I don't agree with that, but I mean, if it works, it works, Mike. They do that in the school system. And that's also considered what they call, there was a book called The Straight System. And the downbeat is always on the right, and the upbeat when you're playing an eighth note is on the left. I don't agree with that at all. But for some people, it works. Now, what I do is I alternate the strokes totally. You know, depending on how lazy I am sometimes, what I'll do, I'll just play with one hand. Okay? I mean, you know, you could do whatever you want. I mean, but to me, you know, it's the way I do it. It works for me, and I believe that is proper technique. Now, there's no right or wrong, but that's how I do it, and it works, and I feel good because I equalize the strength on the right side and I equalize the strength on the left side. My attack from the right and my attack from the left is equalized, or I'm trying to make it equalized. That's the reason. Do we all understand from 1 to 10? If we do, we'll do some other, if you know how to read it on one surface, what I'll do, we'll take it to another dimension, a fun dimension. Okay. Mr. Tim, good. Here's what I want to do. I want to, talking about alternating the stroke, let's take the line and play just with the right hand. Line 1. 1 on a different sound as opposed to the drum pad, or if it was on a drum set, a different voice. Okay? Line 1, I would play on a different sound, 1 and 2, and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2, and 3 and 4. I play it on a different sound while my left hand is playing eighth notes. 1 and 2. You see that, gentlemen? I'll take it a little slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. All right. So let's get up tempo a little bit. How about, let's say 150? Yeah, I feel good about that right now. Just to show you some sort of end result. That's my left hand. 1, 2, here we go. Ba-da-doo, pop, pop, 1 and 2. Next line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Third. 1, 2. Fourth. So on and so forth. You just have a lot of fun. Now I'm taking it to, I'm working my left hand and playing, supposedly if that was the melody line, with my right hand. But now don't forget the right side. If I did my right hand, 1, and played my left on a different surface. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pop, doo-doo-dee, pop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Line 3. 1, 2. 1, and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3. That's 5. 6. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1. 7. So on and so forth. Well, that's only a little bit. I mean, the object, it's just, instead of doing something that's it's not that it's boring. I mean, there's certain steps. The first thing you have to do is be able to read on one surface, alternating the stroke. That's the way I look at it. From that point, you could be extremely creative. Like I said, I'll try to do this. Well, I can't really do it on the drum pads. Like I said, if I did all quarter notes, all right, let me do that. Just, hold on. I'm going to play quarter notes with my right hand, my left hand, my right foot, and my left foot. So I'm going to count. I'm thinking, I'm not counting out loud, but I'm thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And I'm going to say, okay, left hand, while everything else is going on, play the line. Line 1. Here we go. 1 and 2, 3 and now. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Line 2. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. And I'm just assigning my left hand. I got to turn the air conditioner on. You might get a little zzz going on. Okay. So, and what I just did was just with the left hand. You can also do the bass drum, or the right hand, or the hi-hat against the recorder notes. All right? And that's just, it just keeps growing and growing. Now, I could take this, like I said, like when we started the lesson before with the accents, playing 16ths. Like so. I could do line 1. It's going to tell me to accent 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Just have a grand old time. And you can reverse it, starting with the left hand. Do line number 1, 3, 4. Hold on. It's hard to talk and do this shit. So on and so forth. Well, that's the object, man, is to be creative. You see, with this stuff, there is no right, there is no wrong, as long as you maintain the rules. And the rules are, read the music. Okay, Mr. Mike. Very good. Anyway, and you'll see, you can do this with the whole thing. If I went, let's go to another page. Let's go to page 30. Everybody get on page 30, the syncopation book. Let me know when you're there. Well, I'm glad it helped you. You're there. Okay. Everybody else there? Whoever else is listening? Page 30. Now, we're going to do this instead of straight up and down. We are going to play it syncopated. All right? I'm going to play the first measure straight up and down. Then I'm going to explain how to swing it. Okay, line 1. Measure number 1. We're on lesson 12, page 30. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and there. I was lazy. I just played it with the right hand. Okay, so now, when somebody tells me, and you'll never see it written out, you'll always see, if I took this as a big band chart, and it would say swung. Simple. So that then my thought process goes to, instead of straight up and down, to swing it. Now, we all understand how to swing something. We go to triplet. I think of the 8th note triplet as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what happens now, it opens up the space, it loosens it up, and it makes it swing, is that when I count the triplet, it gives me that openness between the downbeat 1 and 2. So I look at the and. That becomes, anytime I see an and, it becomes the duh of that downbeat triplet. Number 1, the downbeat is 1 and duh. So now the and that's written is going to be the duh of the triplet. So I'm going to count triplets. 1 and duh, 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, I'm going to swing it. 1 and the 2 and the 3. Bop. 1, the 2, 3. See how it feels? 1 and the 2, 3, 4. 1 and the 2, 3, 4. Do we understand that, gentlemen? I'll go over it again. Okay. If you understand it, just put a Y there like you guys are doing. And if you don't and want me to go over it, just put an N. There's just so much to do. It's unbelievable. Okay, so let me give you, just if you understand how to read it, swung. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2, 3, line 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and line 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2. Bop, boo da, za ba da, bop, boo bop. Okay, so now, yeah, as the dotted 8th notes is 2 straight up and down. 1 E and 2 E and 3. As the triplet, 1 and 2 and 3. They're close, but the triplet gives you a better feel. Now, a good exercise, again, is say, play against it. Like I say, you play the quarter notes, you assign one of the limbs to play that, swung. Or when you get that going on, you say, okay, let me work on my triplet with my left hand. All right, so I'm going to play my triplet. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and I'm going to read the line down with my right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Line 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. See, right now you're counting. Whoa. Why the rest? What do you mean the rest? You're opening the space. when you say swung, it's not one and. You're thinking triplet. One and the two and the three and the four and the. So all the ands, when you see them, become the da of the triplet. And the 1, 2, 3, 4 remains the same. It's opening it up. You can't go one and the. When I'm doing the triplet here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm playing the triplet. You understand that, Mike? Don't get confused. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm playing the triplet, and I'm doing it slow. Okay? I'm not humming a tune. I'm mechanically putting it together, mathematically. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. My right hand. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. The 2, 3, 4. The 2, 3, 4. Okay, now if you eventually, as you line 3, all right, line 3, good. I mean, I love it. Questions. I mean, they're the best thing in the world because it not only helps me help you, but you help everybody else by answering the question because some guys are shy. Well, I don't want anybody to know I don't know line 3. That I respect, Mr. Mike. Very good. Yeah, okay. Line 3 has 4 eighth notes. If I did line 3 straight up and down, let me do that first, and we'll make a comparison. Line 3 is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's straight up and down. Now follow the rules. instead of counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, you're dealing now with triplets. You're counting 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. And the reason why you're doing the triplet is to open this distance, the space, make it feel good. Open it up, man. Get down and dirty. So now, remember, the downbeat remains the same. If I just played 4 downbeats, 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the and, where you see the and here, becomes the da of the triplet. So let me do the first downbeat. 1 and the. The second downbeat. 2 and the. The third downbeat has a rest on 3, so it's 3 and the. Then the fourth downbeat is a quarter note, 4. So I'm going to slow the line 3 down. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. You see that, Mike? Da ba do ba do da, da ba do ba do da, da ba do ba dee da, da ba do ba dee da. If I was humming it, if I was a trumpet player humming that, I'd be da ba do ba da da ba do ba dee da, da ba do ba do da, da ba do ba dee da. That eventually comes after you put it in place and learn how to count it. It's important for me, Michael or Mike. You're good, I know, Tim. You got it, Mike? And thank you for the questions. Any other questions? Playing a triplet here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do line 3. I'm counting 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Simple. Now all I'm doing, all right, is just playing triplets with the left hand, but I'm straight ahead triplets. All right. Now you could change that and put an accent on the first note of the triplet like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now do line 1 without disrupting this movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So on and so forth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back, 2, 3, 4. Work. so on and so forth. Just you get, it's endless. The stick control book, the syncopation book, they're interrelated. They're the same. Believe me, you'll see that eventually. Two of the greatest books ever written. I mean, I take this and I fill in the triplets. I'll play it against the jazz time. I'll do it in a variety of different ways. When I say filling in the triplets, we're going to consider this right now. I'm going to do this as a linear line. Well, I'm a set player as well. I mean, I practice on a drum pad, but I play and I practice on a drum set. Like I have I stream 3 days a week on my site, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's not good, Mike. No book should cover dust. Well, there's a few of that I give away, but they should not cover dust, man. The syncopation book, the stick control book, accents and rebounds, the Joe Morello books, the master studies, all of Gary Shafee's patterns books, David Garibaldi, Mike Clark, all his books. They're all golden, man. There's so much information in there. But see, a book is a book, you know, and well, you could say that, I guess. I mean, I never thought about it that way, Tim. But anyway, you know, a book is a book. It's a guide. It's a concept. It's a way, but it's not the only way. It's to open up more doors for you, so you be creative. Being creative is an art. Being an artist, you're a musician. Could you imagine going through life and everybody playing one way? That would be a drag, man. Now, there's no mental block there, Mike. There's no mental block. It's patience. And we could talk about patience. A lot of students that I have come in to see me. They don't want to deal with stick control work. They don't want to deal with any books. They want to play a cover tune. My answer to that is I have an exit sign on the door, and I show it to them. They come to me for lessons. I view them, I critique them, and I give them what they need to be who they want to be. If they don't like that, well, time for me to go back to practicing. It's never ending. Rhythm is never ending. And it's all universal and it's all harmonic. Anyway, okay, let me do this one with you guys. I think you'll like this. I'd rather start this one with the stick control book, then we could go to an actual reading. Let's go to the stick control book again. Let's take line 1 of the stick control book. Okay, now line 1, it's written straight up and down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we all understand that. We all know how that goes. Now if I say, okay, instead of playing that straight up and down, let's play swung. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like so. So that's the difference, straight up and down and swung. Now, this next interpretation, again, is an elimination. And by elimination, I want to interpret the line as one, as syncopated, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I want to eliminate the lefts. So again, I'm going to have line 1 would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now I'm counting eighth note triplets, but I'm only playing because it's telling me the first note of the triplet. So I want to make it, let's say, a linear line, a straight line of rhythm. That's when 2 notes don't hit at the same time. and it's a straight line of eighth note triplets. In reality, I was just offline there for a second. I don't know what happened. Anyway, I don't know what we missed. We're doing the stick control book, line 1, straight up and down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Did we get that? The first page, page 5, line 1. Okay, we play it straight up and down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to think of it swung. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. For this interpretation, we're going to eliminate the lefts. So that's just going to give me the rights. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now to the point where I think we were cut off was now we're going to make it a linear line. A linear, yeah, there's a lot of, I don't want to get scientific. Linear line's a straight line of rhythm. If I play eighth note triplets linear, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I just played one solid line of eighth note triplets. I played a linear line of eighth note triplets. So, with that being said, I'm going to make that line, this exercise, a linear line. However, I'm going to maintain the interpretation. I'm going to keep going 1 and 2, 3, 4. And in reality, that's a linear line. I just played 4 quarter notes. But now, I'm counting eighth note triplets. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. So, I'm going to fill in the blanks. And the blanks meaning I'm going to play the balance of the triplets in addition to my interpretation as ghost notes. So the first one would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and up tempo a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Line 2. The right falls on the dub, the triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Fill in the triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I like to do line 1 and line 2 over and over again. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and line 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back 1, 2. A little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2. Back and forth over and over again. Now, this is only maybe the second stage or the first stage. By the way, before I forget, I need to mention this. When I mentioned linear, the first 3 pages of stick control book is linear. Every line. We understand why? Now, that's stage 1 of this particular exercise. Stage 2, I would take it downtown. When I say downtown, I would do a substitution. And all my rights, instead of me playing 1, 2, 3, 4, I use my bass drum to play the 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have a pedal set up. I'm going to pound the bass drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did we hear that? And we play it against the jazz pattern. 1 and 2, 3, 4. All right. Or we can go to line, whatever line you want. I like line 5. You know, 1. Bop, boo, bop, ba, da, boo, bop, ba, bop. Now, can you hear the syncopation book in here, gentlemen? The figures? 2 of the greatest books ever written. I hope I'm helping everybody out, opening up brand new doors, and you don't have to pay the toll. All you have to do is turn the knob and go in. Okay, now, what I'm going to do occasionally, and I think this is more than fair, occasionally, because, you know, I'm going to, I like to put a live stream from my site so I can show a drum set application, okay? And every time I turn the system on, it costs me some money, which is, you know, that's cool. We'll get to that in a second. Let me finish the statement, Mike. Right? What I intend to do occasionally, open up the site for a bit of, you know, maybe $5 for 2 hours or whatever, for drum set application of all the things that we're doing. Is everybody okay with that? Let me address this. I don't upstroke like you do. All right, well, this is what I do. I have a free stroke, okay, a downstroke, a tap, and an upstroke. Well, I'm going to be doing it at 8 o'clock at night. Not a problem. I'm not going to open it up at 12 and then at 8 as well, because I do 2 lessons on a Tuesday, okay? I open it up, I do the stream here on 12, and I come back tonight at 8 and do it. Okay, so there's 2 times. Anyway, how do you do what did you say? That's not how you do an upstroke? I mean, if I'm here, I'm down, and I want to do an upstroke, I have to come up. I don't know how you would do that. How would you do an upstroke? If I'm doing, for example, 8th notes at one level, and I want to get in position to hit an accent, I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and if I want to accent 1 and 3, I don't know. I mean, there's a couple other techniques out there. I mean, I don't keep the stroke up when I do an upstroke. I bring it up to bring it down. When I'm doing a lesson, for example, if I was playing 8th notes, I'm doing 8th notes like this, I'm demonstrating what's occurring in slow motion. Okay? I don't know, man. I don't know what that is, and I apologize. I should do some research. But if I'm doing a paradiddle sticking right, left, left, left. Now, I sit here and do a paradiddle like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, pop, pop, pop. Okay, that to me is not teaching. Okay, that's demonstrating. That's playing. All right. Now, what I do, I demonstrate what's occurring, what is occurring when you're doing the paradiddle. If I took this, sorry, like so, and I took a video of that movement, and I play it back. Let's say hypothetically we have a metronome on the camera. So I played it back to you, okay, in slow motion. This is exactly what you would see. Down, up, tap, tap. That's what's occurring. Now, Bobby Thompson is an excellent, great rudimental teacher. Next Sunday, if you're interested, I have Dr. John Wooten. He's going to be interviewing. He's going to be on the site. He's going to interview. I'm going to be interviewing him, and we could bring this question or what you're doing to his attention. Now, you don't. As far as keeping stick down, how could you possibly get an accent unless you put pressure or squeeze the stick? And that I don't agree with whatsoever. Because if I put tension on the accent, it's no, I'm not saying you're saying it's better or worse. It's a way, and I agree. But I mean, I don't squeeze the stick. Like, I mean, there's a little push there. There's a little. I mean, I can do paradiddles here. The stick hardly comes up. This is the level system not created, but like Jojo Mayer rather, and George Lawrence Stone, Joe Morello. And this is what I was taught. The free stroke, the downstroke, the tap, and the upstroke. Those are called controlled strokes. If I'm playing one sound, for me to get one sound constant from the right and from the left, I have to have the same distance on both hands, right? Well, good for him. All right, that's a drum corps thing. That's a field drumming. That's more of a sport, doing push-up kind of thing. Okay, so what I do here is when I play my right hand and my left hand, I'm equalizing the sound. That's the initial and basic concept of stick control book. My right and my left have to be equal in sound. I mean, I'm not going like this. That sounds terrible. When I play paradiddles, if I'm going without an accent, I'm playing paradiddles right now without an accent. Now, if you're going to stay 2 inches away from the drum, that's squeezing and that's putting tension on my muscles. And I don't play with any kind of tension at all. I mean, I just like to hit. Let the stick happen. You know, there's the laws of physics. For every action, there's an opposite reaction. I throw it down and come back. I throw it down and I stopped it from coming all the way back. Okay? Now, if I want two of the same sounds, I'm coming down distance-wise from the right and the left, the same distance. If I want to put an accent, I have to come from another point. I can't stay here and get an accent. There has to be some sort of up there a little bit and come down, but it's not a very powerful accent. And if you want a powerful accent, you have to push the drum stick into the drum or put tension on the drumstick on your arm to squeeze the stick or pinch the stick. And what that does, well, why don't you do this, Mr. Mike? Why don't you make me a video and send it to me? And we'll address that next time. Not a problem. Well, that's because you have 8 drummers in a drum line, and you're like this. And that's very disciplined and very regimented in the military. That looks really nice. That's really nice. Okay? I mean, that's for drumline beauty. You know, that's cool. But, I mean, when I'm playing a drum set, I don't go like this, or I don't sit there and stand there like this. I mean, I'm explaining what's occurring when you're doing single strokes and putting accents there. practical. Well, I can't say it's not the only way, but it's the way that I was taught, and boy, does it work. I mean, it's what occurs. If you prevent something, here's my attitude to this. All right? If you prevent something from occurring that's natural, you're disrupting something. For me, to go like here's a good example. You have a little kid, say 10 years old, 9 years old, or 6, or whatever. He puts the drumsticks in his hands. He's holding them matched or parallel or German or French, and he's going like this. Okay, he's going like this, and you ask him, say, okay, play one stroke harder. He naturally will go like this. He will lift the stick and throw it. Naturally. He won't go push it like that. He naturally let it come down. That's a natural way. That's a natural approach. It's not that it's less, and it's not that it's more. It's the laws of physics that arise here. If it's less, if it's less and you're pushing an accent, you're preventing something from happening naturally. I'm not saying you're incorrect, but I've seen guys do that, but ask them to play like that for about an hour. Their arms will fall off. Okay, with all that being said, gentlemen, I'm running a little bit overtime. I will. Yeah, well, it's not thought about. It's not thought about at all because it's natural. And if you practice something that's natural, you reinforce it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, well, that's good one, Tim. That's good as well. Good statement. But anyway, thank you, Mr. Mike. Come back anytime. I do this every Tuesday at 12 noon, and I do it at 8 p.m. And I love the questions, and in comparison to other concepts or techniques. Now, this is not the only technique that's out there, but this technique seems to be very successful in my case, not just from me, but from my students. Those guys are smoking, man. They're moving like 9,000 miles an hour with no problems at all. Now, everybody here has my email. I'll be back tonight at 8 p.m. and I'll keep notifying everybody about when my website will open up for a drum set application. Okay? Okay, Mr. Tim, you have a good night. And Mr. Mike, you have a good night. And whoever else was in here, because there's a lot of people in here, and nobody else is participating. But that's okay. Next time. Okay, Mr. Mike, Mr. Tim, and whoever else, you guys have a good day. Thank you.